use the chat? There it is. How to use the chat. I see you guys in the chat, so clearly you know how to use the chat. This is a function where you can send messages, you can talk to each other. I use this a lot to respond to exercises, so I'll ask you questions and I'll want you to write in the chat. You can encourage and support each other. I might not see everything, but I try to keep up and follow. We also have a feature in Zoom called the Q&A. This is where to ask your questions. If you ask questions in the chat, it's very likely we will miss them. So please submit questions in the Q&A feature. Emily from the ACCA will help answer those questions, and I will take some time to look at them as well. Some answers to very common questions. Number 1, there is no certificate for this class. Number 2, the class is recorded. As you can see, it's recording right now, and you can view the recording later on U.S. Embassy Algiers YouTube. Okay, that is where you can find the recordings. How to participate with microphone. So you can tell right now that you do not have the option to speak. Everybody is muted. However, there will be certain times when I will invite you to join me on microphone. At that point, you can click the raise hand button and Emily will bring to the stage, the virtual stage, participants. If you are selected to come join on mic, I ask that you are brief so that we can have as many people as possible speaking. There's no option for video, so this would just be joining on audio. Class rules. This is where we're serious. We have our serious dog. Respect and civility in the chat and when you're on microphone. Respectful engagement on social media for our homework assignments. Avoid swearing, profanity, and discussion of irrelevant topics in the chat, please. Open-minded to having fun and being positive, which is very important in my classrooms. Is everything okay? I love dogs. I have a few dog photos. This presentation, we don't have so many dog photos, but I think just the 2. I'm gonna briefly check in the Q&A before we get started. I see Bujama Ben Sharuf asks, can you share recordings of the previous sessions? You can find all of the previous sessions at the U.S. Embassy Algiers YouTube page. I hear Abdurazak asked, what's the subject of this session? Good question. We will go to it next. The session is writing professional emails. Let's get started. So today we did an overview of class rules. We're going to talk about what are professional emails and why do they matter. Then we will go through the 8 steps of writing professional emails. There will be a Q&A session where I will invite you to join on mic and ask questions about emails. So prepare your questions as you have them for this later point. And then at the end, if we have time, we will write an email together. And then we have our idiom of the week. Okay, so first, before we get started, I have a poll for you guys. Emily, can you release the first poll, please? Okay, so it should have just appeared. The poll has the question, have you ever written professional emails in English? As a reminder, we'll be talking about professional emails in English tonight. Some of the rules may be the same in other languages, but for tonight, the focus is professional emails in English. Select 1, please. Yes, no, or I'm not sure. Maybe you're not sure if something counts as a professional email. All right, once everyone has voted, Emily can close the poll. All right, results. Okay, very interesting. We have almost 50% are yes, I've written professional emails. We have 41% no. So that's kind of a pretty even split between yes and no. And then 12%, I'm not sure. All right, well, good. Hopefully by the next 10, 15 minutes, we'll clear up the I'm not sure. If you've written professional emails or if you've never written professional emails, this class will still be useful for you in preparing for your emails for the future. All of us in our lives will write professional emails. There's just no escaping it. Poll number 2, please, Emily. Poll number 2 is a little more complicated. There's a lot of options. So I will give you guys some time to respond. Okay, let's take a few minutes. The question is, what are the hardest parts about writing professional emails? I gave you many options. So take some time, read every option and check as many as apply. You can check 2, 3, 4, 5, maybe all 6. And Emily, I'll let you decide when you want to close it, but since this is a long one to read, we'll leave it open for another minute. All right, votes are still coming in. All right, results. Ooh, okay. I'm going to read them from most to least. So 69% said finding the right phrasing is the hardest part, or one of the hardest parts about writing emails. I completely agree with that. I think that is always the hardest part, especially when the topic is sensitive. Perhaps you want something from someone, or perhaps you need to decline an invitation or give someone a negative answer. Finding the right phrasing is always very important and can be very hard. Next, choosing the level of formality. This is an interesting one, and we will talk about this today as well. How to know how formal the email should be. Then next, at 37%, creating a professional format. This is critical to a professional email, is actually the format and the look or the design of the email. 33% said one of the hard parts is explaining the purpose of the email. And explaining the purpose of the email is very important in a professional email. So I'm happy to say we will also be talking about this. What will be after 33? Okay, 20%, knowing how to start and end the email. So 20% said that was one of the hardest parts. So many of you don't think that's very hard, but still some of you are asking, how do I know exactly what to say in the beginning and at the end of the email? And the last one is knowing how to address someone. Yes, I hear this question a lot. Do I say, sir, ma'am? Do I say Mr., Mrs.? Do I say to whom it may concern? Dear, hi, hello? We will absolutely address this question. All of these are hard parts about writing professional emails. The good thing about this skill is it is something you can learn. None of us, even native English speakers, do not wake up or show up at work on the first day and we know how to write these emails perfectly. there is something like a formula to them. So today we are going to be talking about what that formula is and how all of us can improve our professional emails. Oh, they both say question 2. This should say question 1. The question is, what is a professional email? And I guess maybe what I'm asking here is, what are the circumstances where an email is professional? Can you guys send in the chat, please? What emails are professional? What am I doing, or who am I if I'm sending a professional email? You're at work. You're at work with teachers, job applications, good. Business, applying for a job, sending to a boss or a client. Business related, stockholders, job interviews, requests for a software license, between coworkers at universities, education, applying for jobs to the U.S.Embassy, an email for a professional purpose, everything except personal email. I like this. This is a very, I think this person is maybe a lawyer, very legal answer. University admissions, contacting your professors. Okay. To companies, requesting documents to your supervisor. Okay, very good. Here is what I say. Professional emails are emails that have a professional purpose. So that's why I was laughing when someone said any email that's not personal, because that's true. Any email that's not personal, that's not between friends, has really a professional purpose. There's 2 things to think about. Either you are the professional, meaning you are emailing from your work or as your work role, or you are emailing someone else at their work. So we often think of professional emails as when we are at work. So let's say I'm Emily at the ACCA. When Emily sends emails from work, of course it's professional. But what about when Emily sends an email to, I was going to say the hair salon, but you don't email the hair salon here. Who would Emily email? Maybe Emily's emailing another embassy here for an invitation to their event. They're having a big festival and Emily would like to go personally. Well, that person, the person at the other embassy, is at work. So even though she's emailing as a personal human, as an individual, she's emailing someone who is at work. So it's a professional email. I tried to give examples of this, which I think are better than the example I just tried to come up with on the spot. So when you email visa officers at embassies, when you email university professors as a student, when you email me about my business English class, I'm here, this is my job. So if you email me about my class, it is a professional email. If you email the ACCA staff, maybe you want to email asking, what activities they have coming up. Well, that's their job to work at the ACCA. So that is a professional email. The dentist's office. Again, I don't know if you email your dentist in Algeria. In the US, we email our dentists. A car rental company to organize renting a car. So all of these are examples of professional emails. Question number 2, the real question number 2. Why does writing professional emails matter? And by this, I mean, why does writing emails in a professional manner matter? Why do we have to write them in a certain way? We never email the dentist. All right, you guys, well, this was maybe a very American example I used. Okay, to have respect and to be respectful, to be considered. Okay, very good. Respect, I see lots about respect. Okay. To look professional, very good. To improve the quality of service. Politeness, to be answered, very interesting, to get an answer. To be considered professional, to prove that you are serious, to be well understood, to make a good impression. Politeness and etiquette, maybe this person was here last week. This is definitely related to politeness and etiquette. To receive an answer, to be taken seriously, to explain a situation, to get what you want. I love this. Ultimately, the emails are professional to get what we want, right? Because we want to have the objective achieved. Professional emails matter because they help us present a positive image or a good first impression of us and of our company. They create a sense of trust between the person you're emailing and yourself, or perhaps by you looking professional, you also show that your company is professional to help avoid misunderstandings, to help build and maintain positive work relationships. Email is the most common form of communication, so it's important to get this one right. I read a statistic that said we spend 1/4 of our time at the office emailing. So let's make sure 1/4 of our time is spent emailing well, emailing professionally, achieving our objectives. Okay, before we get too far into the 8 steps of professional emails, I want to hear from you guys. This is a little earlier than usual that we ask people to jump in, but I think this will be very interesting. I want to know, what are your questions? What are your questions about writing professional emails? Click on the raise hand feature. Emily will select you, bring you to the stage. You will need to unmute your mic, and then you can talk and share your question. So if you want to talk, if you have a question, raise your hand, come and join me. Okay, I see Abdel Karim. Abdel Karim, come turn on your mic and tell me your question. Hello? Abdel Karim, can you hear us? Uh-oh. Okay, well, I think there was a connection here. I see Ismail. Are you there?
Hello.
Hello, welcome.
Thank you for this class.
Wonderful. Thanks for joining. Tell us, what are your questions about writing professional emails?
My question is, I didn't have the right word and phrases to write the right email, and I need the right professional email daily. Every day I am obliged to write email, a professional email, so I'm weak to write it. So I should just go to Google and find the right email to send it. So I didn't know what is the secret to write a good professional email. This is what my question. I hope that I find the step to write the right.
Okay, thank you so much. This is a very good question. And I think many of us end up on Google when we're first learning the skill of writing professional emails. The good news is that you're doing everything exactly correct, which is to look on Google for suggestions. What I said earlier is that professional emails are like formulas, meaning we use the same phrases, the same types of sentences. So actually, the good news here is there's a little bit, not all of it, but there's a little bit that is memorization. You start to learn the exact phrases to use, and then as you practice, you develop the skills. But I hope today will be useful as well in helping with some of the questions around phrasing.
Thank you.
Thanks for your question. All right, who's next? Dunya, welcome.
Hello, madam. How are you?
I'm doing well. Thanks. How are you?
I'm very good, thank you. I'm so happy to join you today. So I'll be brief. Now I'm currently preparing for my interview for tomorrow for my second job. So I have written too much letters to this company. It's like it's new for me. It's new experience. I was like in a call center before, and this is my first experience in sales manager. So I have taken too much time to read in internet, and I could and I have done too much researches to write the best email. But I'm very happy today because I have the chance to talk to you, and I'm so happy also because I can understand everything that you have said in the previous lesson.
Well, very good, Dunya. And I see myself and everyone else is saying, good luck. We're hoping that you have a successful interview tomorrow. Tell me, do you have a question you want to ask?
Oh yes, madam. I want to join you in a real. So I want to know how to subscribe in your real classes.
Oh, well, Dunya, we're only taking questions right now about writing professional emails.
Oh, okay.
Thank you so much. You guys, you're welcome to look up my school and look up the classes there. But for now, this is how you get me. You get me on Zoom, and we have 449
Thanks a
of
lot,
you.
madam. I'm so happy to meet you.
Thanks, Dunya. Welcome to the class.
Nice to meet you.
All right, let's take another one. Hi, Riham.
Hello, how are you?
I'm good, thanks. How are you?
Thank you. This is my first session, so I'll be brief as well. About the question, I would like to know how to convince. I mean, the one I'm sending them the email. This is how I find it a bit hard.
It's a very good question.
Exactly. So especially to impress, if I may say, the company or to write it perfectly.
Absolutely. This is a great question. Persuasive language in a professional email. Unfortunately, I don't have this incorporated today, but maybe our example email, we can choose something persuasive. And so we can work on it together. Yeah, it's a very good question because persuasive skills are very important in language when you're looking to convince someone to hire you or to buy your product, all of this. Okay, thank you, Riham. Thank you for the question. Let's take a few more. I see Tamer, welcome.
Hello.
Hello.
Good evening.
Hello, Tamer, how are you?
I'm fine, thanks for this session. And I'm so happy to enjoy with this session. My question, the professional email, we can use internet traditional in the internet and put the phrase, or be spontaneous when you do it, or some rules like in articles or some academic rules. This is my question. And really, thank you. My level in English is not excellent. I'm just trying to keep it and catch the topic. Thank you.
Thank you, Tamer. You are welcome here. Welcome with whatever English level. And it's very brave of you to come and speak. I'm happy to hear from you. And the answer is yes, there are specific phrases and there are specific formats. And there is what I call a formula for writing a professional email. And I do not think a professional email should be spontaneous. It should always be something that you take time, you follow the formula, and you will receive a much more positive response, I'm sure. Thank you for the question.
Thank you. Okay.
All right, I see someone's up here with the name 2030, very mysterious, 2030. What's your question? 2030. I think you have to turn your mic on. We'll take 2 more, and then I think we're going to keep things moving.
Hello.
This is Amin. Hello.
Hello, Miss. How are you?
Welcome. I'm good, thank you. How are you?
I'm good, thank you. So my question is, how we can write an email attractive? It is should be long or low or etc.
How can we make an email attractive? You mean how can we make someone like us in an email, like want to work with us, for example?
Yes, that's in this way.
Yeah. Okay. I think, I mean, it's a similar question to Reham about not just the format of the email, but really how do we convince, persuade, appeal to the person reading it? Okay. Very good. Yeah, so I think you guys, I think for the example, we should choose something related to this. I think it's a great idea. Cool. Thanks, Amin.
Thank you. You're welcome.
All right. Emily, do we have anyone else? If not, then I'm going to keep us going. I see nothing. I hear nothing. Let's keep going. Oh no, that's Sarah. Okay. All right, you guys. So here is the, what I call the meat of the presentation. This means it's the middle. This is really the information I want you to digest. I'm making too many food references. Essentially, the 8 steps is the formula to writing professional emails. And at the end, we have some tips as well. I'm really hoping to get through these in just about 20 minutes so that we have time to then write a professional email together. Step number 1. This is very important, and it starts before you've written or even opened the little email, new message to write. You need to use a professional email address, okay? This needs to include your name or some version of your name. Use a generic email provider like Gmail, Mail, Hotmail, Yahoo, Mac, something normal. You do not want your email address to look weird and confusing. Pick something normal and boring. Include your name or a variation of your name, okay? But not strange other words. No princess, no, like, I don't know, John Robinson, and it's not your name at all. Avoid these additional words. I know this is an unpopular opinion, but I actually suggest to avoid numbers. I don't think the numbers help. I don't think they seem very professional. I would try very hard to just use your name. Examples for myself, it can be Ariella Knight, A Knight, Knight Ariella, well, I guess I'd have to tell you all my full name, but I could put my full name, I could put my middle name in there. Try to find ways and look for different providers. If you can't find one on Gmail, look for one in Mail. It's okay if your name is long. In fact, it will help them remember your name when they look at the email address. I really think that first name, last name, a variation of first name, last name is much better than adding different numbers. There is university provided emails. Those are also fine. If the university provides you with an email, you can use it. And I know sometimes, at least in the US, the university emails are weird and have numbers, but that's okay because the @ is official. @ USTHB.edu, okay? So you need something that shows it's official or very normal. Okay, include a relevant subject line. So every professional email needs a subject line. Having an empty subject line looks very unprofessional. It looks confusing. And most importantly, it looks like spam. So someone may not open it if there's nothing. It actually might even get caught by spam filters. So add a subject line, keep it short and simple. This should reference why you are contacting them and what the purpose is. I have a scenario for us, okay? We are going to write an email together while you learn the steps. So here is your scenario. You met a potential client, Mohammed, at Café Richard, and you exchanged cards. Now you want to email them to ask for a meeting and introduce them to your company named AX Cars. Okay, so it's a car rental company. You met someone at a cafe, you had a good conversation, and you think to yourself, this is a potential client. What are some options for the subject line of the email? Can I see in the discussion, what are some subject line options? Any suggestions? Introduction. Okay, good. You could simply say introduction. Meeting. I like meeting without the exclamation point, just simple. Meeting for coffee. Very good. Introducing AX Cars. AX Cars, meeting request, collaboration, AX Cars / introducing our company. Greetings, I don't think is very specific. AX Cars company introduction, asking for a meeting, good. Business meeting. Instead of my car company, I would say AX Cars company. It sounds more professional. AX Cars meeting. Someone says maybe we shouldn't include AX Cars. Why not? If you're introducing AX Cars, the subject line should tell you what is the point of the email. The point is the introduction and the meeting. Okay, so here are some options. Introductions. Introducing AX Cars, and many of you said exactly the same, which is great. Meeting request, AX Cars. I actually think it's very important, or can be important, to include AX Cars in the subject line to remind them who's messaging. I wrote nice to meet you. This may seem informal, but sometimes directly after a meeting, I'm okay with a nice to meet you in the subject line if you email them quickly. And follow up from Café Richard. You can also mention where you met somebody. Again, these two are slightly less formal. We're not going to use them for now because we're going to use the more formal style of email. But these are very good ones for when the meeting was not extremely formal. Perhaps someone who is in your same peer group or is a future coworker. Then I would go for a less formal subject line. So the one we are going to choose is introducing AX Cars. I mean, I would not include the word pitch in the subject line. In invitation to AX Cars pitch, people don't love to hear that you're going to pitch them. It can sound like pressure. I think meeting request, introduction, etc. is more neutral. Okay, so number 3, now we have our subject line, introducing AX Cars. How do we start the email? We need to choose the appropriate greeting. Hey is too informal in most situations. You can use this if you're talking between your coworkers, sending a short note. Dear is formal. It's acceptable in formal emails. It's good and important for a high-level contact. What do I mean by high-level contact? Who can tell me what I mean by high-level contact? CEO, VIP, boss, superior, headmaster, very good. So high-level contact is someone who we want to be slightly more formal with. It's also good with customers when we're trying to sell, and job applications. Hello or hi are in between. They can be good for partners, collaborators, someone you know or you've emailed before. If I know you and I say dear, it can feel a little too formal. So hello and hi are very common. A quick note that is in part cultural. In the United States, we do not use Mr. and Miss or Mrs. We really just use people's first names. The exception for this is very high formality, very high formality. If I'm emailing someone who is, let's say, an elected official in the government, then I would use Mr. and Mrs. Yeah, it actually does not seem informal or rude. But again, this is cultural. So this is very common in America. In fact, when I receive an email from someone who is my peer or in my age group, and they say, "Dear Miss Ariella," it feels immediately to me a little bit like, okay, all right, it's very formal. And yes, someone says they notice this in many messages from Americans. You'll notice this from other Americans. We do not use Mr., Miss, and Mrs. anymore. I will say again that this is cultural. So in England or in other cultures that are not native English speaking, but are maybe you're communicating with a company in, I don't know, in Denmark, for example, or in India, it's very possible that the culture there could include Mr. and Mrs. But I would like you to know that in the US, we don't really use Mr. and Miss as commonly. I see someone ask, if you meet me, should you call me Ariella or Miss Ariella? You should call me Ariella. You know, in our universities in the US, many of them, we call our professors by their first names. We're an informal culture in the US. And I think you'll find that other countries are maybe becoming less formal as well. Something to think about. Okay, so now we are back to our email. We have our subject line, introducing AX Cars. What do we say to start the message? Remember, his name is Mohammed. What do we say? Dear Mohammed, dear Mohammed, hello Mohammed. Good. Those are basically your two options. Hello Mohammed or dear Mohammed. We went with hello, but I also accept dear Mohammed. All right, good. You started our email. Next, we are going to include a soft opener. A soft opener. This is the first sentence that we have in the email. It's actually very important to have this sentence. Some people call it, I don't know, does anyone know the word fluff? This is something that does not have substance. And we joke because it's obligatory to have this sentence, even though it doesn't mean anything, because it's in every email, But if you do not have this, it seems rude. So this is when I was speaking earlier with, I'm forgetting the name of the wonderful gentleman who shared about looking up phrases on Google. This is an example of a memorized phrase. Memorize this, put it in every email. I hope this message finds you well. That's it. You can also say, I hope you are doing well. Sometimes I say, I hope this email finds you well. That's also okay. But again, this is a memorized phrase. There are no bonus points for creativity. Just use exactly this sentence and it will be very professional, clear, and understood. Oh, I said use this, I underlined it. Without it, the email feels like it starts too abruptly. And again, there's no bonus for creativity. Do not try to make it more interesting. Not at this point. Later on, we can be interesting. This point is just politeness. And I have a little joke here, you guys. I don't know if you can see this. It's very big. Okay, so this is from what TV show? Does anyone know the TV show? The Office. It's Mindy from The Office. So the joke is, someone says they receive an email and it goes, hope this email finds you well. She says, how the email found me. You look at Mindy Kaling. She's not great. She's not doing well. The joke is that it doesn't matter how you're doing. You could be doing miserable. Everyone could be miserable, but every email will say, I hope this email finds you well. So it's like a cultural joke. We know it's ridiculous that we use the same sentence in every email, but you have to do it. You really have to do it to have a professional English email. Oh, poor Mindy. All right, so tell me, what are we gonna say? Oh no, shoot, it came on too fast. Well, okay, hello, Mohammed. What do we say? What's our first line? I hope my email finds you well. Very good. I see you guys getting creative. You can get creative, but why? Why get creative? Why not just say, I hope this message finds you well? Very good. I see people saying, I hope you're doing well. I hope you're doing fine. Okay, I accept these. But especially when English is not your first language, you do risk making a grammar mistake, making a spelling mistake if you're changing your formula. So find one, pick one, and repeat it in every email. This is my advice. Okay, now we need to introduce the intention of the email. We immediately need to say what we are emailing about. Right after our opener, we immediately say what we're emailing about. Here are some phrases, again, to memorize. I'm writing today to share with you. I'm writing today to ask about. I'm writing to inform you that. I'm writing to see if you are open to. I'm writing to request. Okay, it's a short and sweet explanation. All of these have the ... because you'd have to finish the sentence. So for example, I'm writing today to ask about reserving the conference room on Thursday. Will it be available? I'm writing to inform you that I will be late for our meeting by 10 minutes. Okay, I'm writing to see if you're open to moving the meeting to another day. Again, you guys, I hate to destroy everybody's creativity, but I would use exactly these phrases. There's really no point in getting a fancy or inserting a fancy way. The point of a business email or professional email in English is to understand quickly, to be able to read it like this, fast, and get the point. So if you're changing it or if you're adding in language that's unfamiliar, it will make it harder to be on, it will make it slower and possible misunderstandings on the other side. So take a picture of this and use these phrases. I'm very aggressive on this point because I know people like to get creative, and this is the one area in life where it does not benefit you to go outside of what is expected. All right, so what are we going to say? In fact, well, let me go back to this. It's not that it doesn't benefit you. It's that it actually harms you when you are seen as unprofessional. And because our emails, our professional emails are like formulas, when you go outside of the formula, you look unprofessional. You look like you didn't know the formula. This is why I caution you not to be creative. Not because I don't like it or I think it's silly. It's because I don't want you to risk being viewed as professional. And that is the biggest mistake that I see, is people try to reinterpret the formula. So today we're going dry and boring. Hello, Mohammed. I hope this message finds you well. What do we say? What's our point? I'm writing, to remind you, the scenario is that they met at a cafe and you, the author, want to introduce Mohammed to AX Cars. You're requesting a meeting. I'm writing to request a meeting to introduce you to AX Cars. Beautiful, Faisal. Nurhan, it's professional, not boring. Maybe I should stop calling it boring. Maybe because I find it a little boring. It's true, that's what professional is. Tariq, I'm writing to follow up on our meeting at Cafe Richard. Very good. I'm writing to see if you're open for a future meeting. I'm writing to request a meeting. Very good. I'm writing to invite you to a meeting that has been set for Thursday at 12 o'clock. Well, I don't recommend you determine a time without asking. I'm writing to invite you to drink a coffee in Cafe Richard. I'm writing to check whether you're available next week for a meeting. Very good. I'm writing to request a brief meeting to introduce our company, AX Cars. Salah, I like that. Very good. All right, so here's what I wrote. Mine is always long. If you've been in my classes before, you know I'm long. I was very happy to meet you at Cafe Richard yesterday. I'm writing today to see if you are free for a quick meeting or call to learn more about our company, AX Cars. I love the shorter ones. You don't have to go longer. What I did here is I added a reference so that Mohammed would remember where we met. And I saw some of you guys did the same thing. You said, I'm writing to follow up on our meeting. I am writing to ask you to speak slowly. Ahmed, that was very funny. And I will try to speak a little bit slower, but I'm going to keep us at that B2 level. Someone said something interesting. Abdurraouf asked, shouldn't we introduce ourselves? Actually, this is following a conversation that you already had. So you've had an introduction in person. Mohammed already met you. You talked, you exchanged business cards, which means that you actually talked about yourself and you introduced your company already. So the email, you don't need to reintroduce. By saying, I was happy to meet you at Cafe Richard, you've reminded Mohammed who you are. You don't need to do a new introduction. All right, next. Keep the email short and sweet. I'm laughing because my emails are always a little long. And you guys know that this is it's just something that I deal with. I tell you to go short. I already know my example's a little long. However, I get to the point. I don't have a lot of extra adjectives. That's the main thing. Professional emails are direct. Even an expression of gratitude when you're thanking someone for their time, for their energy, should be short and sweet. Okay? Longer emails, when you're explaining something, when you break down information, this comes later. This is perhaps when you're working on a project, when you're negotiating a contract, when you're really deep in a discussion. Then your email is really about the content. It's something that if it requires a long email, okay, it requires a long email. But in these the first email in an exchange should be short. So here we are. Hello, Mohammed. I hope this message finds you well. I was very happy to meet you at Cafe Richard yesterday. I'm writing today to see if you are free for a quick meeting or call to learn more about our company, AX Cars. All right, you guys, what am I going to say? What should I say to Mohammed about this is the body of the email. I'm going to see if anyone guesses what I end up saying, and otherwise I'll give you a hint. Tell me the content of this email. What should I say? Should I just say, thanks, bye? I'm writing to see if you can save this course. Okay, you guys are being very funny, Nurhan. I love that. It's being recorded. You can watch it on the U.S.Embassy Algiers website. Introduce your company. Good. Yes, Omar, I can repeat the question. The question is, what do I say next? Okay. Confirm if you're available. Elaborate more about the meeting objectives. Very good. Looking forward to hearing from you. Please confirm your availability. At AX Cards, we provide the following offers. Ask him to accept the invitation. Okay, would it fit to meet tomorrow at noon? So kind of start planning or suggest a time. Brief information about you. Introduce the company's product. Very good. Introduce your service. Absolutely. I did a few of these things. So I said, as I mentioned, this is a reference to the conversation we had in Cafe Richard. As I mentioned, we are a well-established car rental business with 10 offices across the city, and we specialize in providing cars for short-term business visits. So this was me introducing the company and our offers. Let me know when you might be free to discuss further how we can support your needs. So here, I don't give a time. I don't suggest a date, but you can. You can absolutely suggest and say, Are you available next Thursday to chat? Okay, it's really up to you. It's based on the circumstances, based on the relationship you have with them. Directly suggesting a time can sometimes look a little aggressive, not a lot, but you just have to determine in each situation how you want to sort of schedule. If you want to leave it open like I did, which is basically let me know if you're interested, and then we talk time in the following emails. Or if you feel comfortable, you can directly say, how would next Thursday work? At Cafe Richard, lattes on me. You know, you could make it more formal, or sorry, less formal, really based on your interaction. Maybe you had a really good conversation with Mohammed. You got to know them you got to know him kind of in a jokey, fun way. Then the email can be a little less formal. Tariq asks, their meeting at Cafe Richard was a business meeting. No, they just happened to meet. So maybe they're waiting in line and they started talking. Maybe Mohammed was with a friend that you knew. So you said hi to your friend and your friend introduced you to Mohammed. So it was not a planned business meeting, but you had a good conversation. And maybe Mohammed said to you, oh, he gets your card and he goes, oh, you're a car rental company. We often need to rent cars. And you think to yourself, great. And I will email him in an hour. Emily says networking. This is networking. All right, next, step 7, include a closing statement. So it is too abrupt to simply end your email. Just thanks. Here are very typical closing statements. They're a little bit different, the two I give you, for different circumstances. Thank you for your consideration. I look forward to hearing from you. This is very common when you're offering a proposal to someone, proposing a meeting, proposing a project, or submitting your CV for a job, for a job interview, or you're submitting a job application. The second one is, please don't hesitate to reach out if you have any questions. We often use that when we are using the email to inform, okay? So if I'm at our school, when we send people their class schedule, their confirmation, we say, here's what time your class will start, here's the directions. We end with, please don't hesitate to reach out if you have any questions. I see a lot of you adding things like respectfully, sincerely, regards. That is actually the next step. Before the final step, we add these closing statements. It's like a softener at the end. So in the beginning, we say, I hope you're well. And at the end, we say, please don't hesitate to reach out. It's not the time for the best regards, the warm regards. I look forward to speaking with you on Wednesday. Zaki, that's perfect. I'm excited to work with you. I'm excited to work with you, or I look forward to your response. Yeah. Okay, very good. So, hello, Mohammed. I hope this message finds you well. I won't read the whole thing. What do we say now? What is our closing statement? Not best regards, you guys, not sincerely. That's our closing words. I want a softener at the end. Thank you for your consideration. Thank you, Rania. Looking forward to hearing from you. Very good. Bujema, I love this. Looking forward to hearing from you. And should you have any questions, please let us know. Don't hesitate to reach out if you have further questions. Tariq, that's great, except we don't have any questions. There's nothing he could have questions about with this specific email because there's no information in it. Can't wait for your response. Okay, it's a little informal. Here's what I said. Thank you for your consideration. Ooh, Zina, beautiful. Thank you for your time and consideration. I look forward to your reply. Mwah, love it. This is the chef's kiss when we see something just perfect. I'm looking forward to hearing from you soon. I love it. Wonderful, beautiful. That's our softener. Well, I didn't call it softener. We called it closing statement. Okay, now you guys are so eager for the actual closing words. That is step 8. Include a closing word. And Obviously, some of them are not a single word. So closing word or words. You need to include a final word or words right before you sign your name. Here are some typical options. Best, all my best, thank you, with thanks, sincerely, respectfully. I recommend that you choose one that you use basically in every email. Me, I'm a best person. I sign all my emails best. Then you can choose another for when you are more grateful, or you want to sound warmer, or maybe you really asked for a favor, or you asked for an apology, something didn't go well. For me, I say, oh, my best, when I want to sound a little more sincere. Okay, so I recommend you just choose one and stick with it. All right, yours sincerely, kind regards, sincerely. They're beautiful. Kind regards, best regards, all the best. Ooh, all the best. I also use that. All right, so what are we going to say? Thank you for your consideration. What should we choose? I saw sincerely regards, but you should just pick one, either sincerely or regards. Respectfully, best regards with us, all the best, beautiful, all the best. Whoever said, oh, Khadija, you got the same one I did, very good, all the best, Yusuf. But there's nothing wrong with sincerely yours truly, best regards. Thank you, I wouldn't say thank you because you just said thank you. Thank you for your consideration, and then thank you sounds a little repetitive, but you can, in another circumstance, you can say thank you at the end as you're sort of closing. Awesome. And then your name. Optional, an email signature. If you are already employed, so you're someone with a job, include a signature. In the signature, it should say your title, your phone number if you want, perhaps a website. If you're not employed, meaning you're a student or you don't have a job right now, you don't have a signature. Signatures are about your professional job. However, you can write your phone number here if you wish. This is a great place to just kind of include your phone number. But it's optional. You don't need to include this. Not a handwritten signature. We call this an email signature, and I will show you what it looks like. I've added mine at the bottom. You see I have these two lines. Underneath is what we call an email signature. It says founder and CEO, AX Cars. I've put a random number with too many digits so that I didn't accidentally, I don't know, you guys wouldn't call some number in case it's someone's phone number. It's not a real number, there's too many digits. And I made up a fake website, axcarsalgeria.com. Okay, so if you are writing a professional email from your professional email address, or as a professional, so I'm writing to you as my, research assistant role, then at the bottom of the email, remind that person that that's your role by including it. It makes an email instantly look more professional when you have a signature. If you're a student, don't worry about it. It's not expected if you don't have a job. If you do have a job, then this is something you should do. You guys, this can't be a real phone number because it has too many digits. Oh, everyone's making me laugh today. All right, we're gonna do some additional tips, okay? So those were our 8 steps. Let's go back and look at the email. The 8 steps to writing the email was, who remembers step number 1? We're gonna do a quick quiz because it's not in here. What's the first step we went over? It's not the hello, it's not the greeting, it's not the subject line. Professional email, Selma, very good. Step 1 was having a professional email address. Step 2, not the greeting, subject line. Oh, I missed the names. Oh my gosh, you guys are all good. Okay, subject line, right? For here, we have introducing AX Cars. Number 3, greetings, greetings, perfect. Number 4, soft opener, Waleed, Mira, beautiful, the soft opener. I hope this message finds you well. You'll always remember it, I hope, because you'll think of Mindy from The Office. Okay, what are we on? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Short introduction, which we called the purpose. Yep, the purpose or the intention of the email. Very good. That was step 5, the purpose of the email. Number 6 is going to be hard to remember the name of. Does anyone remember the name of it? It wasn't, yeah, the body of the email is short and sweet. Oh my gosh, Mira and Dalal. Wow, you guys, good memories. I hardly remembered and I wrote and gave the presentation. I'm just kidding, I remembered. Short and sweet. Okay, number 7, what's number 7? Closing statement, very good, closing statement, which is not the same as number 8. What's number 8? Closing word, very good. And then we have optional. The final one is optional, which is the signature. Beautiful. All right, we're gonna go over 3 tips and then we're gonna open up 2 more questions. These are not necessary steps, but they are tips that will help you in writing the emails. Number 1, expressing gratitude. Most professional emails have an expression of gratitude. It can either come in the beginning or the end. So in the first one, we have following up. If you are following up about something, include gratitude at the beginning. Thank you for getting back to me. Thank you for your reply. Thank you for the lovely conversation the other day. So the follow-up can be about something that happened in person, like the lovely conversation, or it can be about the previous email. So most professional emails include gratitude. That's really important to remember. So as we just said, if you're following up, the gratitude is at the beginning. If you are making a request, gratitude comes at the end. Thank you for your attention to this matter. Thank you for your help. It is possible that these are both, the email will fulfill both of these conditions. So imagine you've asked someone a question, the visa officers at the U.S. Embassy, you ask them a question. They respond, but you have another question. At the beginning of the email, you would say, thank you for your reply. At the end of the email, after you say, I have another question, here it is, can you tell me if, you would also say, thank you for your help. Okay, so you can include 2 expressions of gratitude. It is very important to include at least one. It's a question of politeness and etiquette that we talked about last week, to have gratitude in emails. As you saw in our email, we had it at the end. Thank you for your consideration. Good. Tip number 2, format. We're not going to spend too much time on this, but you guys know what I'm going to say. Keep it simple. I'm not going to say boring anymore. We're just going to say keep it simple, keep it professional. So have a consistent format. Choose one font and one size. Do not change the font or the size. There should be breaks between the paragraphs, okay? There should be a space. Avoid bold, underlines, or italics. Those come across as very strong, and in most cases are not necessary. Although I then bold the next sentence because I feel strongly, no colors, no fancy fonts, no emojis. I have here in blue, which it shouldn't be blue, this is just so you can see that it's an example, a classic email. However, you could also look at our email that we just did together as a classic format email. It's the same font. It's a professional font. It has no bolds. It has no italics. It has no underlines. There are breaks between the paragraphs. That's what we want. Simple, classic, direct. Number 3, no spelling mistakes. Use a spell checker. Most email services include this automatically. It usually looks like a little red underline or a blue underline, okay? Pay attention to this. Make sure you do not have a spelling mistake in your emails. A spelling mistake can make the difference between being viewed as professional and not professional. Even us as native English speakers, we sometimes make spelling mistakes. And after you send an email, when you see a spelling mistake, it's like, oh God, oh my God, did you see? Oh my God, I made a mistake. We take it really seriously because it's viewed very, very negatively. I wish it was not as harsh, but it is. Some of the funniest spelling mistakes are if you are writing too fast. I've done this, and you misspell your own name because your name is the last one that you write. So you write it and you hit send. One time I said that I wrote that my name was Aruka because my hand was one over on the keyboard and I just hit send. Luckily it was to a coworker, or else I would have read it twice or 3 times, but still, that was years ago and I remember this. Okay, oops. Well, English mistakes may be acceptable if you don't speak English fluently. Try to ensure all of the words are spelled correctly, okay? So if you make a grammar mistake or you make a mistake because English is not your first language, there will be more patience and more tolerance for that than a spelling error, because we expect that you spell check your emails. So just because you don't feel very strong in English is not a reason to have spelling mistakes. If I read an email and I see English mistakes, that's fine. I see spelling mistakes, now I'm thinking it's less professional. All right, everyone, we have 20 minutes left. There's 2 things we can do, and I'm gonna have you vote. We can either have question time where you ask me questions and I answer questions and we have a good conversation, or we can write an email together, which I'm not sure how that will go. I'm a little nervous, but I thought we could do an example of working with, working with the persuasive, I think it was Rihem and Amin both said they wanted a persuasive style email. So I see in the chat, writing emails. Mohammed wants to find the recording of the class. Mohammed, I see you desperately sending that. You can find this on YouTube. Writing emails. We have some questions. All right, I think people want to write emails. All right, I'm going to give you 2 options. Number 1. I don't want to do an email where you're, okay. Number 1 is an email that you are submitting an application for a job. Okay, we can do an email that you're submitting an application for a job. However, the email is not the application, okay? It is just accompanying your cover letter. So it is not the motivation letter, it's just the email with the cover letter. Number two. I need some suggestions, you guys. Writing email. How about requesting? Well, we just did requesting a meeting, didn't we? I think we should just do number 1. For scholarships, it's all the same. It's actually all the same type of email, admissions. Let's do this then, because actually all of this is the same type of email. When you are applying for anything, you send an email with a resume and a cover letter. So we're gonna write an email for all of these. I see someone sent me something. Oh, Salah wants the presentations. Oh yeah, that's right. Well, I think we can do presentations. Okay. I'm gonna stop sharing, see how this works. And we're going to write an email together. All right. So let's imagine we already have a professional email. We already have it. It's, well, for me, it's just maybe some version of my name at Yahoo or something like this, okay? So what should I be doing, you guys? Should I be applying for a scholarship, an internship, a job, university? I see job, scholarship, job, scholarship, volunteering, university. Okay, most of what I see is job, so we're doing job. I'm applying for a job. Let's say I want to work at possibly the ACCA. That's easy, we're all here. Obviously, we all know the ACCA. Okay, what's my subject line? What's my subject line? I'm applying for a job to the ACCA. Okay, job application. looking for a job, ACCA job application. Okay, maybe we should say the name of the job. What should the job be? Someone says accountant. I don't think the ACCA needs an accountant. What's a good teacher? ACCA teacher application. Okay, good. How do I start? This is a good one, actually. We didn't talk about this. We're going to imagine we do not know the name of the person we're applying to. Who knows how to start an email? Aha, someone said it and I missed the name. To whom it may concern. This is how we start a formal email when we don't know who we are writing to. To whom it may concern. What do I put next? Thank you, Sadek. I see that Sadek wrote, hope this email finds you well. In a professional email, I'm going to say, I hope this email finds you well. Okay, I don't want to take any shortcuts. All right. Reminder, we are not talking about ourselves in the email. We are just sending attachments. We are sending our resume and our cover letter. So this is not where we have the persuasive language. The persuasive language is in the cover letter. Can we use the position of the person when we don't know the name of the person? Kauthar, good question. What I would say is, instead of to whom it may concern, it's equally acceptable to say, dear hiring manager. Okay, what is the point? Very good, Abdinor. I am writing to, Lazhar, I love it. Please find attached. Beautiful. Please find attached. You know, Sharif, you don't actually need to know the hiring manager's name. My resume and what else? What do we include? Who's been here for my others? Thank you, Rania. My resume and my cover letter. Good. What are they for? Abdinur, you can say CV or resume. Here for the ACCA, you can say CV or resume. Really, resume we say in the US, CV we say in Europe. They're both acceptable. Okay, but what are we? Why are we sending them this? Thank you, Zinab. To apply for the role of teacher at ACCA. Okay, I would adjust this slightly. Please find attached my CV and my cover letter. Here's a fancy phrase: for your consideration for the role of teacher at the ACCA. The role of teacher is a little awkward. For your consideration for the open position of English teacher, or maybe not English, well, maybe it's English teacher at the ACCA. Okay, someone said, why don't you leave that sentence for the end? It's a good point, because a lot of times we will include an attachment at the end. However, this sentence serves as two things. It says what the attachments are, and it explains the purpose. We can add a different sentence for purpose if we choose. I'm writing to apply for the position as da, 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 da. And then you could say, please find attached my CV and cover letter for your consideration. Did you see what I did there? You have two options. You can make these two sentences, or you can make them one sentence. Personal preference. So we have, dear hiring manager, I hope this email finds you well. I'm writing to apply for the position as English teacher at the ACCA. Please find attached my CV and my cover letter for your consideration. All right, what do we do next? Someone says you should introduce yourself. I actually don't agree. I do not introduce myself in job application emails. I know that they are just receiving the email to download materials, okay? All of my convincing and persuasion will be in my cover letters. All right, I see Hussam Eddin said, thank you for your time. I look forward, hope to receive a positive feedback from you. Well, I think that's a little obvious, right? So I would just say, well, I guess that's the idea. I hope to receive. You know what I like to say? So I put zero pressure. Sometimes I think saying, I look forward to hearing from you. I hope to hear from you. Very good. Thank you for your time. I hope to hear from you. What I also say to put no pressure on them, it's not a big deal. You can say, I hope to hear from you, but sometimes I also say, thank you for your time, and please let me know if you have any questions. Okay? As in, I'm still available, I'm here. Thank you for your time, and please let me know if you have any questions. You can also say, please let me know if you require any additional information. Okay, this one, I would really just use this one in a job application setting. Please let me know if you require any additional information. Yeah, thank you for taking the time to review my qualifications. Sharif, that's very nice, I like that. Thank you for your time. Thank you for taking the time to review it. So yeah, we're getting a little bit longer. This could be a shorter version, but I think it's still okay. Please let me know if you require any additional information. What do we say at the end? You know, Abdinor, the desire to have an interview is obvious. I wouldn't be applying if I didn't want an interview. So no, I don't think we need to say it. All the best. Business English class. It's from all of us. Well, let's say it's for me. And let's say I'm a student, so I don't have anything. Maybe I want to add my number here. Okay, but also you don't have to, because your number should be in your resume and in your CV. All right, you guys, honestly, I think that we've put together an amazing professional email here that you can use anytime that you want to apply to a job. This is exactly what we need. Tariq, is it okay to just write Ariella K? I think Ariella K is actually a little odd. I'd either write Ariella Knight or just Ariella. Oh my gosh, it won't let me back into edit. Well, it's finished, I guess. We could just say our first name, especially for the US. We often just use the first names. Sharif, I'm writing with great enthusiasm. Okay, you can say that. It's a bit more formal, but I accept it. All right, everyone, this is a perfect example, if I say so myself, between you guys, your suggestions, and myself. I think we put together a very perfect, short, sweet, super professional email to send with any job application, including scholarship applications, university admissions, internships, etc. All right, we've got 8 minutes left. I think we have time for a little bit of question review. Am I still here? Okay. Oh, I need to share my screen again. Where's my screen? Okay. So I have here a few questions from the team that I'm going to get to. Okay, so someone said when we send a professional email and we do not get an answer, like maybe they forgot, should we send them an email again? And yes, after how many days? Well, this is a delicate question, and it depends on the urgency of the message. For example, if there's a deadline, as well as the level of the person. If you're emailing a high contact and they do not get back to you, I would give them a little bit of time, maybe a week, maybe a week and a half. I wouldn't wait longer than 10 days. I would say maximum, and that's a very high level contact, and the email is not urgent. At that point, I might say you're not likely to get an answer anyways. If it is not such a high level contact, if there is urgency, I would say it's appropriate to follow up between 3 and 5 days after you send the email. So imagine you're trying to set a meeting for next week. You haven't heard from them in 3 days. Next week is quickly approaching. It's appropriate to follow up and say something very short and simple, such as, hello there, hoping to hear from you about the below. Let me know if you have any questions. Something short. Next. How to keep the energy of your team going when emailing a coworker while also remaining professional. Yes, emailing your team, we didn't talk about that. We sort of only talked about emailing strangers or clients or someone you just met. So I think, I don't know, maybe that's what we should talk about in our next class, which is how to add a little more personality into these. I mean, that's when I would start using hey. That's when you can add more exclamation points. The thing about professional emails is that since they're a strong formula, anything you do to change from the formula feels important. So even if it's something small, like great work, guys, with an exclamation point, it makes it slightly less formal and more engaging. And you'd only really send that kind of email to your team. So it doesn't have to go all the way into colors and memes and emojis to be fun and engaging. I would think about adding exclamation points. I would think about saying things like guys or you all, something a little more casual that could make it encouraging for your team. Let's see what other questions we have. Oh, these are resolved questions. Okay, open questions. Should we follow the same steps when writing an email to a teacher to ask about a lesson or to justify an absence? Yes, I think so. I think emailing a teacher is a professional email. I would do this. You know, dear professor, I hope this email finds you well. I'm really sorry for missing class yesterday. Please find attached my doctor's note. I look forward to being in class next week. All my best. It's short, it's sweet, it's professional. Okay, when emailing the same person many times in the same day, shall I use a greeting in every email I send, or should I start talking directly about the subject I want to? This is a good question. It really depends. As the exchange goes on, so you've emailed back and forth maybe 6, 7, 8, 9 times, it's very acceptable to get less formal. It's absolutely acceptable to start just saying hello, comma, and go directly into the subject. I do recommend that you continue to include hello and best with your name, but you can drop the opener, you can drop the closing statement, you can drop the I hope this finds you well, but unless you're working internally on your own team, and then you can really just have direct emails. But if you're working with anyone external, I think it's good practice to always include hello, comma, and a closing word, best or with thanks in your name. What, are you planning to schedule more sessions in the future? We have 1 session next week, and then I'm not sure. I guess we'll see if we have enough interest to keep this going. You guys have been really great, though. We've been covering some great topics. Okay, Iman, in English, we start with the first name to distinguish between the first and the last name. Yes, in English, we start with our first names always. I know that in French, we often do our last names in all capital letters to make sure we know it's the last name. We don't do that in English. We just always have the first name first and the second one, the last name second. Oh my gosh, there's just so many questions, you guys, and we still have to do our idiom. When we send a professional, oh, I said this one. We did all these, I think. If you see. If you received the same email as the example, would it be something for you to open up the resume and consider accepting them? If I received an email with the exact example we wrote today, I'd think, wow, that's professional, and I'd open it. Remember, professional emails are not read in detail. They are skimmed, they are read quickly. So you do not lose any points by copying. Take pictures, send exactly what we did. I think it's absolutely appropriate and will be appreciated. It's okay if it's the same thing. All right, you guys, we have to get to the idiom, so I'm gonna leave the rest of the questions. So every week we do an idiom. An idiom is a common expression that means something different than the literal definition. How this works. Every week I give you an idiom that we use commonly in the workplace. You guys can record a video of you using the idiom. Just imagine a scenario in a workplace and use the idiom. I will comment and send you some feedback and possibly repost. So tag me, you can see my handle is Ariella in Algeria, and tag the embassy, U.S. Embassy, Algiers. Here is your idiom. Not going to fly. Bonus points if anybody knows the movie that this picture is from. So not going to fly means something that won't be effective, won't be permissible, or won't be well received. Someone said office space, which I'm feeling silly because I thought it was just called office, but I think you're right. I'm going to look this up. Okay, something that won't be permissible or it won't be received well. It's almost always in, yes, it is office space. Waleed, amazing work. Not gonna fly is usually used in the future tense. It's about something we're developing now that won't be accepted. So here's an example. This report is really short. It's not gonna fly. We have to make it longer. It's a way to give negative feedback while something is still in development. All right? So this guy, he's the boss. If you've seen this movie, he's really kind of annoying and horrible, and he's looking at his employee going, not gonna fly. It's a way of saying, redo it. No, change it. No, not gonna fly. That's not gonna fly with the boss. That's not gonna fly with the CEO, or that's not gonna fly with the clients. Yeah, not going to stand a chance. That's a good way of seeing it. I see requests about sharing the PowerPoint, and I'm very happy to do that. I'm going to ask the ACCA team for support and perhaps sharing this out afterwards. Okay, then the last thing we're going to do, you guys. Oh, a resource alert. I forgot. There is a free online course on writing professional emails that you guys can sign up for online if you're interested. It looks like this. The website is called Coursera. The class is called Write Professional Emails in English. It seems great. It has really high ratings and it's free. So if this is something you really want to work on, I highly recommend you go to Coursera and you sign up for the course. It's free. Why not? Try it out. It might really help you. The last thing we're going to do, everyone, if you're still here, is a quick poll for our last class. So before you head out, tell me, what do you want to talk about? What do you want to talk about next week? Emily, please release the poll. Here are the options. Interview practice, politeness scenarios, elevator pitches, and a resume workshop. It says to me that nobody can vote. Emily, is that true? Are you guys able to vote? Oh, okay, good. Everyone can vote. We'll see what you're interested in for our last class. All right, where's our results? We have, interview practice is totally the top one. I love that. 65% want interview practice. Okay, 40% want a resume workshop, 18% want politeness scenarios, and 13% elevator pitches. Well, I will take your suggestions into consideration, and we will announce on U.S. Embassy Facebook and Instagram what the topic will be, but I'm very inspired by this idea of interview practice. All right, thank you so much, everyone. You've been lovely tonight. You are participating. It makes it so fun and rewarding for me. Hope to see you all next week.